Sir, do we have any action items that you got from the executive session?
The two action items from the executive session are H and I. The Chief Financial Officer's report. We discussed the PennVest application and the different requirements for that. We discussed the specifics of the resolution for the $8 million loan. As stated in the agenda, it's a 5-year loan and it's 2.45%. And we will be using the same professional financial advisor and bond counsel as we've used for the other loans. So they can be covered as part of the Chief Financial Officer's report. And then we talked about litigation matters also in the executive session, but the action items can be done as part of H and I.
Thank you. Okay, you have in front of you the Chief Financial Officer's reports, item A through E. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, received and filed. I'm going to do them separately. Item F is a request for the ratification of the list of expenditures paid and wires drawn. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Sandy, may we have a roll call vote, please? Oh,
Mr.
sorry, I apologize. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I think this is a typo on the expenditure to Arthur Gallagher. It's for bond coverage, not bound coverage. Is that correct? And there were 3 original checks sent to the law firm that were never received.
Yeah, it was they went
Were
to
those checks sent, Agnes, at the same time or at different
at
times?
different times. And they
Different
went
times.
To the wrong address. Since
Oh, okay.
then, we fixed it, we voided the checks and reissued to the wrong
Okay.
address.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, Sandy, may we have a roll call vote on item F, please?
Mr. Andrew?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Reitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Is Mr. McGinn on the phone?
No.
No.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sheldon?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Thank you. We have a request for approval of the 2020 O&M and 2020 capital budgets. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions on either one of those budgets, proposed budgets? Seeing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Andrew?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Reitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sheldon?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Thank you. As previously mentioned by the solicitor, we have a request for approval of a PennVest application for funding. Is there a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions on the PennVest application? Seeing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Andrew?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Reitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sheldon?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Thank you. Second on that is the request for the approval of a resolution authorizing $8 million 5-year loan from Republic Bank at 2.45%, as discussed. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the loan? Seeing none, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Andrew?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Reitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sheldon?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Solicitor, official report?
Thank you. The trust petition is scheduled for a hearing before the judge on January 16, 2020. I will advise the board as we get closer because our meeting is that same day. So we may want to change that, but as in the case with the litigation over the past year, things are scheduled and sometimes they happen, but usually they do not. So as we get closer to the January 16th date, we can make a decision, the board can make a decision about whether or not to proceed with the January board meeting on that date or whether to move it, depending upon whether or not we're in court on that day. So, but that's the next upcoming court matter, and I'll keep the board posted. That's my report for this month.
Thank you. Apparently you have skipped an item on our agenda. May I have a motion for the approval of the November 21st board minutes, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, in front of you, you have the Director of Engineering report. Item A is a report of the contract bids open. Are there any questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, receive and file. Items B, C, D, E, F, and G. May I have a motion to approve all of those items, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions on any of these items? Paul?
Yeah. Brian, item E, the Pine View subdivision in Lower Oxford Township, number 5. The paperwork says that the approval for the fire hydrant placement should come from the board of East Nottingham Township. That's not East Nottingham Township. I believe the approval should come from the board of Lower Oxford. Lower Oxford, not East Nottingham. So I guess that's a typo.
Yes.
Or does the paperwork reflect that, or what's?
We'll get that correct.
But it is Lower Oxford.
It is lower option.
Can we amend your motion to say as corrected for item E? Whoever made that, yes? Second, and second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, I will roll call vote, please.
Mr. Andrew Knoll?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Shelton?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Moving along. Okay, there is no number 11. Tom, you have additional things to say? Item number 12, you have in front of you a report on personnel. Does anyone have any questions or comments on that? Seeing none?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
HR. Do we have any employees that need like work, that's been in the hospital? We have, if they go back to work, but they need like work. I think we had it on the sheet a while back. And we do have spots that we can put employees back to work.
Mike, will you address that, please?
Yeah, we discussed this a little bit last month. The light duty program we offer is for 60 days. What we do is the doctor presents the limitations of the employee, and as long as those limitations are accommodatable, we can accommodate those restrictions for 60 days, then we do our best to find something, yes.
Now, do we have any employees that's applied, that need to come back to work?
There are employees that I receive regular updates from their doctors, and some employees' restrictions basically say the doctor says they can't really do much. So every situation is different. If you have a specific situation, we could, since it's a personnel matter, we can, talk in executive. But in general, the restrictions come from the doctor. The doctor would say this person needs restrictions for up to 60 days, and then they could return to full duty. But the restrictions are very specific to the job and the person. So that I can't give you a blanket answer that, everybody can return to work. It's very depending on the restrictions the doctor puts to that.
Do we have any employees that have applied? Yeah.
Apply for light duty.
After being rehab?
Like I said, I get updated paperwork from employees all the time. Like I said, if you have a specific employee, that would probably be easier to discuss.
Mike, will you meet with Mr. Shelton after the meeting?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Keep the file. Executive Manager's Report. Let's skip to item B. May I have a motion for the ratification of the year-end 2020, well, 2019 employee payments? I think to ratify the year-end payments to the employees. We had approved at a prior meeting.
2019.
It should be 2019, the 20 is not over yet. May I have a motion, please? Is there a second? May we have a roll call on that?
Mr. Andrew?
Yes.
Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Ms. Weitzel?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis West?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Shelton?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes. Thank you. We have a request to approve the 2020 monthly board meeting dates, which you have. If anyone has any questions or problems with that, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see. Do we have any unfinished business? Ladies and gentlemen. Seeing none, any additional board matters? Bob, anything?
I have nothing else.
Thank you. Any old business anyone needs to bring up? Seeing none, now it's time for public comment. Does anyone care to address the board?
Blair Fleischman,
Come on,
Oxford.
yeah, please come up so we can hear you.
I am Blair Fleischman, Oxford. I gather there is still a vacancy on your board as a representative from Chester County that has not yet been filled. Have you received any information about that process?
I have not. I don't know if any other board members have, or if our solicitor has been informed.
I have not.
We do not.
Okay. Does anyone know when county commissioners would reorganize in the 2020 year, by chance?
Probably Tuesday or Wednesday of the first week in January.
Okay. And that would be a public meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Blair, I think they get sworn in Monday the 6th.
Monday the 6th.
I think that's the swearing in. When they meet, it should be on a county website. I know
Yeah.
They just met 11 and 12 of this month. They just met last Wednesday, Thursday of last month for the final meeting, and there was no
appointment.
No
Okay.
appointment. There were a number of people appointed to 10 different boards, authorities, and commissions.
Really?
I think there was 19 people appointed to 10 boards, authorities, and commissions at the last meeting. 19 to 10 different ones. But
Not your board.
nothing, no appointments to the water authority board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Sir?
I know last time when I was hearing stuff, has there been any ideas in a sense to better, I guess, address the issues of getting information out to the people? In a sense, as I mentioned, you know, the newspapers and different things don't seem to be working. And I know the last time you said you were putting an article in the papers to address the million, you know, the $1 million or the $100 million reached on Thanksgiving.
Well, that was it. That was done.
Can I comment?
Yeah, I was going to ask you to comment.
Yeah, we've engaged someone. We'll be taking formal action at an upcoming meeting. The person has asked if you would be willing to talk with them. If you are willing, I will give them your name and number, and they will talk to you, and they will share with you what we are doing. But I'm not going to discuss this
Oh, no, that's fine.
in front of the ACWA representative sitting here, so.
Understood. So, I mean, there are some thoughts that you have.
There is a plan, sure.
And I guess, you know, the last time that I was up at the Chester County Commissioners, I think they call it the Sunshine Meeting, and that's held, it was the 28th and 29th of the month. So I don't know if that's a normal meeting every month, that was the time. The 28th is when they mentioned that Mr. Rivera was appointed. The 29th, I think it was official. So I guess, is there any way, like that, the way this board operates, when there is a vacancy, does this board go to the different areas, locations, Chester County, Delaware County, or Chester, to say, is somebody doing something?
May I answer that too?
Yes.
Once the vacancy happens, it happens because the board member resigns to the body that appointed them.
Yes,
So Mr. Giamento resigned to the Chester County Commissioners.
right.
They voted to accept it, they were aware of it, they issued letters back to him, they were well aware of it. We requested informally that they address the issue as quickly as possible. Our requests were ignored.
Okay,
But the problem will correct itself in a couple of days when the people that currently hold that office are replaced, with the exception of one who is going to remain because she was reelected.
so the vacancy is going to be replaced by somebody that's already,
No, the vacancy will be addressed by the new board, which will consist of Mr. Maxwell, who I think is the mayor, former mayor of Downingtown, by Marion Moskowitz. Moskowitz and Maxwell were the newly elected commissioner, and then Commissioner Kishline, who is part of the current board,
okay.
will be there too. But I think you will see this addressed quickly by the new commissioners. Our request was ignored by the old commissioners.
Okay. So is it worth contacting them and asking them what's going on?
Oh, some or all of us are in regular dialogue with them, yes. Yes.
Okay. So I just had a thought in a sense in that, so for me as a ratepayer, as we call it, in a sense, knowing what is going on in the sense of the rate changes and different things, is there a way to get that kind of information what exists other places? I mean, that to me is the kind of information that would be beneficial to show people that what's going on? Or is that something we might be able to talk
We
about?
No, I
have
think
a
we-
website.
Yeah, we put that up on Facebook. I have no explanation as to why they refused to address that vacancy in a timely manner. Mr. Rivera's vacancy, or the vacancy that was created by the resignation of the prior board member to the seat that Mr. Rivera filled went on for 6 months,
6
five
months.
months.
Okay.
I have no idea why they do what they do, but they just sat on it for all those months.
But I see no reason why you, as a citizen of the county, can't contact them and ask them what they're doing.
I don't think they have any, the old board doesn't have any more public meetings left. In my conversations with 2 of the new board members, they are enormously supportive of the Chester Water Authority, and I think we'll address this quickly. I have not talked to either of them or anybody at the county about the failure to appoint someone to fill Mr. Chiavento's vacancy.
And was there opportunity to visit the Chester Water Authority? Is there someone here that said, you know, entertain that?
Sure,
If
absolutely.
I wanted to, and could I take pictures and?
Feel free to contact someone and then
I'll give-
you're welcome.
Madam Chair, if I
Yes.
may, I'll give him my business card afterwards. He can contact me and we'll arrange something for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excuse me, what's your name?
I'm sorry, Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, A-N-N-A-N,
Thank you.
Westbrook, Chester County.
Thank you, Mr. Aaron.
You're welcome.
Hi, Peggy Ann Russell, an Oxford Borough resident. I think that you just touched on one of the things that I wanted to say, but I'm going to say it the way I had planned to say it to make sure that it is covered. I was hoping that you would provide a presentation to the Chester and Delaware County Commissioners after the swearing in, to educate them about the status of the situation that you're involved in, and also about the seriousness of the repercussions on the residents of the areas that are involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would care to address the board? Have anything else to discuss? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn, please? Oh, yes, we do have a motion. Before we adjourn, we want to wish everyone a very happy holiday and a happy and healthy new year. And anyone else from the board care to say anything?
Yes, Merry Christmas. Jingle bells.
Happy holidays.
On that note, we're adjourned, thank you.